Gombe State Universal Basic Education Board expresses satisfaction with the level of compliance recorded during school resumption in the state. Gombe State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board announces closure of payment for 2025 Hajj exercise. Plus, residents of Shabewa community in Duku local government urges to support the committee on water supply in the area. Hello everyone out there, good evening and welcome. It's a pleasure having you on the news tonight. The name as usual is Alfie Tuma. Stay tuned as I bring you details of the news. The Gombe State Youth Awareness and Relief Organization has paid a courtesy visit to the Speaker of the Gombe State House of Assembly, during which it presented him with an award in recognition of his outstanding performance and effective representation. Leading the delegation, Musa Barrister Al-Napati said the visit was to appreciate the Speaker's commitment and good governance, legislative excellence and youth-inclusive policies that have positively impacted the state and its people. He noted that the Speaker's leadership has continued to inspire confidence amongst youth and civil society groups. Also speaking, the patron of the organization, Alhaji Bashir Nuhu, who is also the chairman of the Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park, commended the Speaker for providing purposeful leadership in the House of Assembly and for supporting initiatives that promote peace, development and youth empowerment across Gombe State. He described the award as a gesture to acknowledge the Speaker's dedication to public service. In his remarks, retired Justice Abubakar Toli praised the Speaker for upholding democratic values and the rule of law in the discharge of his legislative duties, noting that the recognition was well deserved in view of his contributions to legislative stability and development in the state. Responding, the Speaker of the Gombe State House of Assembly, Abubakar Mohammed Logerewu Sulkin Arewang Aku, expressed gratitude to the organizations for the honor. He described the award as a collective recognition of the effort of all members of the House. The Speaker also commended Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya for his visionary leadership and ongoing developmental projects across the 11 local government areas of the state, which he said have continued to improve the living standard of the people. He dedicated the award to all honorable members and staff of the Gombe State House of Assembly, appreciated their support and commitment to advancing the legislative agenda of the state. The Gombe State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, in collaboration with the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, has organized a 4-day capacity building workshop for members of School-Based Management Committee to strengthen grassroots school governance. The training, holding at Pantami Primary School in Gombe, is designed to equip participants with skill in school oversight, financial management, community engagement, and quality assurance. Correspondent Shaibu Umar completes the report.
Participants drawn from primary schools across Gombe North senatorial districts have been exposed to practical strategies aimed at improving teaching standards, maintaining school infrastructure, and boosting pupils' enrollment. Declared the workshop opened, the Gombe State Commissioner for Education, Professor Aisha Tumegari, described effective SBMCs as critical to transforming public schools into centers of excellence. She stressed the need for collaboration among SBMCs and other educational stakeholders to ensure stability and sustainable development in the sector. Professor Magari added that the training will also promote behavioral change, enhance prudent use of government funds, and drive meaningful improvement in schools.
Our expectations is that they are more aligned to their roles and responsibilities as custodians of this school in the community. They are the first responders. Even the head teacher is part of the SBMC. The community leaders are part of the SBMCs. Reputable people, as I've earlier said, are also part of these SBMCs. And then artisans, because sometimes you find out there is a single nail that goes off from the roof, which is not attended to. But if you have a carpenter, he can just go on off there, put a nail, put it back, and then it's gone. If not, you see that the whole roof starts getting off. It can be somebody who can mobilize resources and say, okay, we need a toilet. We can build a toilet. Somebody who can say, okay, we need a computer room. Where I'm working from, like you see where we have it is from USPF.
In his remarks, the executive chairman of CBEP, Professor Esrom Joktantoro, said the initiative aligns with UBEC's national mandate to promote community participation in basic education delivery.
Your responsibilities and how your roles and responsibility will enhance development of the places you are heading. And therefore you are here to be exposed to some of the nitty-gritties of what you have been doing.
The 4-day workshop also focuses on developing school improvement plans, addressing climate-related challenges and strengthening emergency response mechanisms, especially in light of recent security concerns affecting schools in parts of the country. The training, which commenced on Tuesday and is expected to end on Friday, will require participants to develop action plan for implementation in their respective schools. Facilitators and participants have expressed optimism that the workshop will translate into tangible improvement at school level.
Normally, as I said, the concept of SBMC is to involve community participation and involvement in school governance. And this cannot be achieved unless guidelines are followed. How do you follow these guidelines? When a vacancy exists in the SBMC membership, they write to the responsible bodies, for instance,
to get a 4 days training so that we can learn how to go back to our schools and maintain the schools, the facilities, the teachers, the pupils, and the environment.
SBMC, people were not trained to be part of school. We are just doing it just to maintain school.
The collaboration further underscores Gombe State government commitment to improving basic education, following recent steps by Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya to constitute a committee to address vandalization of school facilities across Gombe State. Shaib Umar, GMC News.
The Gombe State Universal Basic Education Board's web has expressed satisfaction with the level of compliance recorded during the monitoring of schools' resumption in parts of the state. The executive chairman of SUBEB, Professor Esron Joktantoro, said teaching has commenced in most schools visited throughout, though turnout was low in some, and urged parents to ensure their wards resume on time. He also commended a school in Kumo for distributing textbooks on resumption date and praised Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya for the prompt payment of counterpart funding, which he said has enhanced SUBEB and UBEB projects across the state. The monitoring exercise covered schools in Biluri and Aku local government areas.
Windstorm. Some are vandalized by thieves. Quite a number of them. And I'm happy that the government and the governor is doing his best to effect these changes majorly, because such schools where are vandalized, they have been identified. Very soon training will be mounted by the board through SBMC's groups. Some of these things will be told on how to go about securing institutions.
A permanent member of SUBEB, Dr. Gambo Adamu, said about 60 to 70% of teachers and pupils were present in the school visited.
Not be far away from the fake news we received earlier when we are about closing the term for the break. There was a rumor that the state government has declared that all schools should close down for security reasons, looking at what happened in our neighboring states. So it was later on the Honorable Commissioner did now debunk the news that is not true. So for that reason, already some private schools have already adjusted their calendar and closed down, and some they have not closed down. And this, their late resumption election may not be far away from that region.
The Supreme Board Secretary Hajia Yaoj Ahmed Wallah said she recorded good teacher turnout in 8 schools, monitored and commended the state's government for its continued investment in basic education. Student leaders in Gombe State have commended the state government for approving a 10% increase in scholarship for Gombe indigenes studying in tertiary institutions. The leader, including the national president of the Gombe State Students Association, Comrade Mohammed Al-Amin Baku, who also served as special assistant to the government on student affairs Gombe North, alongside former GUSA national president and special assistant to the governor and student affairs Gombe Central, Comrade Adam Mohammed Hina and Elizabeth David Akanma, described the increase as timely and long-awaited intervention. They said the enhanced scholarship will ease financial burdens on students, support those from less privileged backgrounds, and encourage greater academic commitment. The student leaders urge beneficiaries to reciprocate the gesture by supporting government policies that positively impact the wider society, adding that the administration deserves commendation for fulfilling long-standing demands of students.
Wanda ya fi 100% wanda aka yi na scholarship. Gaskiya wannan ba ƙaramin farin ciki ba ne, duk da dama na abu ne wanda mun sani mai girma gwamna zai yi mana, saboda a koda yaushe shi yana sauraron bukatu da koken ɗalibai.
Muna godiya Allah kuma muna godiya shi mai girma gwamna da ya mana wannan kari. Dama a can baya ana biya kasa da haka, amma shi ya zo ya increment kusan 200% increment.
Daga Gombe da aka mana abu ne na.
Speaking further, the GOSA President, Comrade Mohammed Al-Amin Bako, reaffirmed his leadership's commitment to initiating student-centered programs aimed at improving welfare and promoting educational development across the state. A community leader in Balanga local government area of Gombe State, Alhaji Anlami Sule Baro Kama, has praised Governor Ino Yahya for what he described as significant developmental strides across the state. Speaking in an interview with our reporter in Gombe, Alhaji Barkama commended the governor for executing meaningful projects in Balanga local government and other parts of Gombe State, noting that the initiative have positively impacted the lives of residents. He also urged the people of Balanga to collect their permanent voter cards (PVC) to enable them to exercise their civic rights during elections. According to him, possessions of a PVC allowed citizens to vote for candidates of their choice. Alhaji Barkama further commended Balawaja Alhaji Muhammad and Juma Muhammad for fostering unity amongst the people of the Waja chiefdom. He assured that he would continue to contribute his quota towards the progress of and development of Balanga North whenever the need arises for the overall development of the area. The Gombe State Muslims Welfare Board has announced the closure of payment for the 2025 Hajj exercise. The Executive Secretary of the board, Alhaji Saadu Hassan, disclosed this while briefing journalists after a board meeting in Gombe. He said the National Hajj Commission allocated 900 seats to Gombe State, explaining that only pilgrims who completed payment before January this year will be considered. Alhaji Saadu Hassan urged those who paid in January to be patient, noting that they can either collect a reform or restrain their money in a Hajj saving account for the 2026 exercise, as the allocated seats have already been filled. The Executive Secretary also revealed that Saudi Arabian authorities have made it mandatory for all intending pilgrims to obtain a medical fitness certificate as a requirement for visa issuance. He added that in compliance with these directives, the board, in collaboration with health officials, will begin medical screening of pilgrims at the Gombe State Specialist Hospital, Jikadefari, from Monday next week. Alhaji Saadu Hassan emphasized that no pilgrims will be issued a visa without a valid medical fitness certificate attached to their passport.
Wanda ba da wannan gwaji na jinya ba zai sami visa ba. Wannan sabon tsari ne aka fito da shi, ya kamata maniyyata duk inda suke su ji wannan su san da wannan, kar su ɗauka irin awun da ake na da ne na shekarun baya ko bara ma, wanda za ka bi jinin ka kawai kai ke ta mace a gwada ko kina da jini a wannan ciki ko ba ki da ciki. A wannan gwajin da za a yi na kwakwab ne na tabbatar da lafiyar mutum. Za a gwada shi ya tabbatar lafiyarsa ta wadace shi zai iya yin aikin, za a samu certificate ɗin shi sai a ɗora kan passport ɗin shi don ya sami visa.
He expressed appreciation to Governor Mahamudu Ino Yahya for providing a bailout of billions of naira to secure seats for intending pilgrims, adding that the board is making arrangements to refund the money to the state government. Education is a mirror of life, guiding humans to a better life, said Malam Muhammad Tukur Abdullahi, a lecturer from the Islamic Department of Federal University, Kashuri. He spoke to newsmen during the graduation ceremony of Alhaji Rabiu Adamu Memorial Islamia School, GRA, Gombe. Abdullahi emphasized the importance of education, urging parents not to relent in sending children to school to become tomorrow's leaders. Professors Shamsuddin Ilyas, Gombe State University, and Sani Manga Natural Blood Transfusion, Abuja, applauded the school's management for providing quality education and discipline, urging them to maintain the tempo. Sheikh Mahmoud Modibo Tukur and Tigmian State Coordinator advise youths to seek both Islamic and Western education, noting no society develops without education. Director Sayyidi Abdul Latif Modibo Tukur expressed delight, thanked contributors, and prayed God to reward them. The chairman of the Duku Water Supply Relief and Services Committee and heads of works, Alhaji Jamilu Abubakar Alkali, has called on residents of Shebewa community in Waziri South to support the committee's effort to improve water supply in the area. Alhaji Jamilu made the call during an inspection visit to Shebewa village, where the committee is replacing damaged water pipelines, urged residents to desist from building structures on water pipelines routes to prevent frequent damage. Also speaking, the secretary of the committee, Abubakar Judoma, appealed to residents of the local government to support the committee with professional advice and further advised committee members to promptly control leakages within their homes and around streets pumps. On behalf of the Shebewa committee, Malan Ishak Adamu, the Sarkin Shebewa, thanked the chairman of the Duku local government, Alhaji Adamu Muhammad Waziri, for directing the water committee to address leakages and dilapidated pipelines in the area. He called on residents to continue supporting the local government administration for its development effort in Duku. In its remark, residents of Shebewa village, Malan Abubakar expressed appreciation to the executive governor of Gombe State, Alhaji Muhammadu Inu for providing social infrastructure in the community, particularly the construction of senior secondary schools in Shebewa. A former senatorial candidate for Gombe Central Senatorial District, Abubakar Aliyu, has defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressive Congress (APC). Abubakar Aliyu said his decision to decamp was informed by what he described as the transformation drive and impactful policies of the ruling APC government in Gombe State. Correspondent Mohammed Ibrahim Pantami has the details of the report.
Speaking to journalists in Gombe, Abubakar Aliyu, who is also the Sardaunan Deba, said the PDP lacks focus and effective leadership, adding that after consultations with his supporters, they collectively resolved to join APC to contribute to the development of Gombe State. He called on members of APC to remain united in order to attract more political stakeholders, noting that the party's policies are positively impacting the masses. He assured that he will work tirelessly for the progress of APC.
Yanzu dai jam'iyyar da aka sani na farko-farkon nan dukansu akwai rigingimu a cikinsu, ba su da shugabanci. Rigingimun shugabanci ma kawai ya ishe su yadda ba za su iya tsaye da ɗan takara ba. Sannan wanda suke maganan cewa jam'iyyar haɗaka coalition kenan ko ita ma haka zalika ba wani an dai har haɗu ne amma ba wani danko da ya rike su wanda za su iya yin takara yanzu a ƙasar nan.
Abubakar Aliyu also attributed the recent defection of some serving governors in Nigeria to the APC impactful policies and program.
In APC su haɗa kai inda duk yake da 'yan rigingimu a sa kwamiti mai ƙarfi a je a gyaggyara a samu maslaha kafin zaɓe.
He further urged people of Gombe State to continue supporting APC for sustained development. Muhammad Ibrahim Pantami, GMC News.
The Emir of Duku, Alhaji Haruna Rashid, has conferred 4 traditional titles on prominent sons of Duku, including Malan Awal Abdul Jalal, the Deputy Clerk Administration of the Gombe State House of Assembly, who was stabbed as the first Majidad in Duku in the history of the Duku Emirate. The ceremony attracted dignitaries from within and outside the state. Our correspondent, Salih Salkikumu, witnessed the occasion. His report.
Speaking on behalf of the Emir, the Ajahn Duku Alhaji Muhammad Giwa congratulated the title holders and asked them to be good ambassadors of Duku Emirate and to protect its image wherever they may be. Also speaking at the event, the member representing Duku for the Federal Constituency, Alhaji Abdullahi Rashid, expressed appreciation to the Emir for the honor bestowed on the son of Duku. He advised the recipient to remain law-abiding and loyal to the Emirate, while praying for Allah's guidance and protection to enable them contribute meaningfully to the development of Duku Emirate. The special guest of honor, the member representing Bali Gasol Federal Constituency of Taraba State and Chairman Gasol Jafar Yakubu, thanked the Emir for confirming the title of Mujaddadin Duku on Malam Awal Abdul Jalal. He encouraged him to work harder and described him as a long-time friend dating back to their days as students at the University of Maiduguri. In a message from the Speaker of Gombe State House of Assembly, Abubakar Mohammed Lugiro, delivered by Shuaibu Adam Haruna, member representing Kwame East Constituency, it was stated that the title was not only an honor to Malam Awal Abdul Jalal, but to the entire members and staff of the Gombe State House of Assembly. He urged the title holder to continue to uphold the rules and regulation of the Duku Emirate. Meanwhile, the chairman of Duku Local Government Council, Alhaji Adamu Waziri, urged youth to engage in meaningful ventures that will secure their future. He advised them to embrace farming and pursue education, stressing that education remains the most effective way to empower them and steer them away from political drudgery. According to him, productive engagement and learning are key to building responsible citizens and sustainable community development.
Kalari da saboda mun yi doka mun yi bayan a dokan kaman babu da babu sanda ba kuma kun bi sai kuma mata yi.
Responding, Malam Awal Abdul Jalal thanked the Emir of Duku for the honor, pledging to be good ambassadors of the Emirate Council. He also appreciated the people of Duku as well as members and staff of Gombe State House of Assembly for their support. For GMC News, Saleh Serkikumo reporting.
The National Council of the Izala First Aid Group has concluded its national campaign and preaching program in Bauchi with a call on Muslims to sustain the good deeds they began early in life. The call was made by the national chairman of the Izala Council of Ulama, Sheikh Mohammed Sani Yahya Jingul, during a preaching session marking the end of the 3-day campaign held at the Bauchi Township Stadium over the weekend. Sheikh Jingul urged youths to make proper use of their time and youthful age in the propagation of Islam, while cautioning them against bad company, and emphasized the importance of obedience and care for parents, reminding Muslims that Allah has strongly warned against disobedience to parents. Also preaching, the second national deputy chairman of the Council of Ulama and Lagos State Chairman Sheikh Abubakar Kantana stressed that standing on truth is the foundation of Islam, and noting that Muslims must purify their hearts, worship Allah according to the teaching of the Holy Quran, and stay away from sin. Other Islamic scholars who preached at the event, including Sheikh Mohammed Sani Umar Bichi of Kano State, Sheikh Bashir Umar Kashiri of Gombe State, Ustaz Hassan Abubakar Dikko of Plateau State, Ustaz Ibrahim Mohammed of Abuja, and Ustaz Abubakar Usman of Sokoto State all encouraged Muslims to remain obedient to their parents and leaders. Meanwhile, Sheikh Ahmadu Mustafa of Borno State and the National Secretary of the Izala organization, Barrister Aliyu Al-Hassan, delivered their presentation in Kanuri and Fulfulde respectively. Activities at the event also included an inspection of a parade by Sheikh Mohammed Sani Yahya Jingul, accompanied by the parade commandant Hafiz Adamu Mijin Yawa, who conducted him around the parade ground. The national chairperson of the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, Hajia Aishatu Ibrahim Mbara, has condoled with the families of the deceased, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ Ratau, and the entire journalism community in Gombe State over the death of 7 journalists in a ghastly motor accident. Hajia Aishatu, who arrived in Gombe on Monday for a condolence visit, was received by a member of the NAWOJ Board of Trustees, Mrs. Ruth Absalom Baba, alongside state executives and members of the association. She described the incidents as devastating and expressed deep sorrow over the loss. While condoling the family of the 2 NAWOJ members who lost their lives, late Hajia Zara Umar Adamu and late Judith Charles Wallens, the national chairperson said the pain of losing 7 journalists at once goes beyond their immediate families and affects the entire nation. The NAWOJ chairperson also visited the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) Gombe to sympathize with the general manager Malan Abubakar Adamu over the loss of 5 staff members in the accident. She noted that although death is inevitable, losing 5 staff in one incident is a huge loss, and urged the management and staff to accept it as the will of God, and advised journalists to love, support, and stand by one another, acknowledging the brevity of life. Responding, the families of the deceased and the NTA general manager expressed gratitude for NAWOJ's solidarity, praying for divine strength to bear the irreparable loss. The general manager, who was an eyewitness to the accident, said the reality of losing 5 dedicated staff remained difficult to accept, stressing that there is no place for enmity, while praying for the eternal repose of the departed soul and quick recovery for those receiving treatment. And with that report, we end the news, but I recap some of the stories that made headline. You heard that the Gombe State Universal Basic Education Board (SUBEB) has expressed satisfaction with the level of compliance recorded during the monitoring of school resumptions in parts of the state. The executive chairman of SUBEB, Professor Esron Joktan Toro, said teaching has commenced in most schools visited, though turnout was low in some, and urged parents to ensure their wards resumed on time. Also brought to you a report that the Gombe State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board have announced the closure of payment for the 2025 Hajj exercise. The executive secretary of the board, Haji Saadu Hassan, disclosed this while briefing journalists after board meeting in Gombe. And finally, residents of Shabewa community in Duke local government have been urged to support the committee on water supply in the area. And that's the much on the news. Thank you for being there. Good night from me.